Hello everybody, and today's video we are going to be working on my clean out hatch on the back of my 08 AR230. So let's get started and I'll tell you what's going on with this. Okay, so my hatch has got a soft spot in it. This is the bottom side of the hatch and it has got some soft spots in it that we noticed last year. What has happened is water has intruded, has made its way inside, and you can see this is just a wood core inside. So this hatch is made up of 3 different components. The first component being this underneath is this fiberglass tray. So you have a fiberglass tray, and inside this tray sits a balsa wood core, and then another fiberglass tray. This is all bonded together, probably with resin and everything else to make it watertight. But again, over the years, water's probably made its way in through the hinge screws, through the actual latches. You can see the previous owner drilled a bunch of different holes because this probably is rotted out. This is what holds the gas strut. And so what we're gonna have to do today is you can see my red line, we're gonna be cutting around. And now another thing too is you can see it has already separated itself. And probably because here in Illinois we get freezing temperatures, this probably froze, expanded, who knows? But we're gonna be cutting it apart. So we're gonna cut this whole tray around. We're gonna cut this whole fiberglass bottom out, try to get it out, scrape everything clean. I've never done anything like this before. I can't imagine that this is that hard. It is a little daunting, but again, if it is built by man, it can be fixed by man. So some of the steps that we have done already, and I'm gonna flip this over, is removed all the original Seadeking. I'm sorry, not Seadeking, but the Hydroturf that was on here, so that this was clean and ready to go. We wanted to inspect to see if we saw any other cracks, so we have a little chip there that was underneath the Hydroturf. And where else we got a little spot right here, and we're gonna address all of that. But I wanted this clean, that way it was ready to go. There is a video on this. If you look down in the description, I'll even put one of those cards in the corner, how I removed this. And so today we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna separate the pieces. So I'll have a camera up there, I'll have a camera on my head. Tools we're gonna be using as of this far is I got a little Dremel, I got an oscillating tool. It's just got a little worn out bit. I mean, this fiberglass will cut. It could probably just be nothing on there. But that's what I'm gonna use. Of course, I got a whole slew of other tools. If we use anything else, I will let you know. And we're gonna go from there. So I've measured the thickness, that's what this is for. My stupid caliper is only reading in metric today, which is fine. But we're gonna have to duplicate this thickness, and so that way this tray is the same thickness, because when this closes, you can see the outline where it sits on the actual hull itself. So we have to maintain this thickness so that when the hatch shuts, it is level. It's not like a big piece and it doesn't want to shut all the way. And of course, we're gonna address that. So, with that being said, super long intro, here we go. Okay, so what you're seeing right here is I'm using my Dremel. This is a cordless Dremel, and I'm using just a little tiny cutting disc. I'm just gonna go around, I'm just taking my time, and I'm pretty much having to cut that top layer of fiberglass, which is not thick at all. I mean, it's not even half the diameter of that cutting disc. And so this part right here, I'm just taking my time. I want a nice clean cut, and you're just gonna watch me go around and do this. So I'm gonna speed this video up, and you can watch me cut this. This was actually very easy. It's gonna make a lot of dust, so that is something that you're just gonna have to deal with. After I would make a bunch of cuts, you'll see me go around with the shop vac and just suck it up. But it makes a ton. And this cordless Dremel was perfect. It still had battery left. It wasn't hard to go through it. I still had plenty of disc left, and that's it. By no means do you have to be perfect straight. When you're done, and you'll see when the tray comes out, you'll have to do a little bit of sanding, but whatever voids are left will be taken care of with some epoxy resin. But you don't want to cut through. That's the most important thing. Do not cut through to the bottom tray, because then you're going to have to fix that as well. And there you go, wiping the lens off, get the dust off. So here you go, watch me cut. Alright, so right now I'm going around my flathead screwdriver, and what I'm doing is I'm checking to make sure I've cut through everything. Everything's wiggling and moving around, and I'm prying up. I'm prying up on the bottom of the swim platform hatch. I'm not wanting to pry against the tray, because if I crack it or break it, that's probably really bad. So I'm prying this up, trying to figure out and to make sure everything's been cut through. So what you're gonna watch is me prying on this, and all I used was this flathead screwdriver and my hands, and I was able to separate it. Excuse me. So I did have to go back, and there's a couple spots, and you'll see right here, this is where it really starts to separate. But once you get it going, it comes apart, and you just gotta take your time. That's all there is to it. So here we go. See if we can get a peek in there. Oh my God, everything is just soft and soaked. So it looks like there's a little 2x4 in there. And so I'm doing my best not to damage this, because this thing's gonna become my template. And if I do, I do. It's most definitely not the end of the world. Oh yeah. Ha-ha! Dun 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 dun. Rotted, bro. Rotted. Holy crap. Disgusting. Look at it, it's like blocks. It's like Legos. So let's separate our little fiberglass piece because we want to save that. That's for sure. Here we go. So it looks like that is soaked. So right here in the middle is soaked. Of course, the whole back half of this thing is soaked. Ooh. Where was our crack at? So we had a big crack right here. Did that transit? Look at that. Well, I guess it was wet. But yes, up here, this is where the hinges were. Okay, so yeah, they're just like blocks fiberglassed in. Okay, so the next step, what do we gotta do? Well, we gotta get all this wood out of here. Good news is we can probably get a chunk of wood and we can determine what the exact thickness of this is. And actually, I'm just gonna measure it. I mean, that right there is that right there tells you that's what our thickness needs to be. So when we put a new wood core in, I'm gonna use a solid piece. We're gonna use a solid piece of wood. We're gonna use marine plywood, whatever thickness we need to be. And of course, it's gonna get epoxy. Now, I bet you $1 million the reason they did it this way by using this stuff, because you can see they used actual marine plywood where the hinges go. They probably use this because it's weight saving. They probably wanted to make this tray light, and this maybe was a cheaper alternative. I don't know why they do it. They obviously build way more boats. Yamaha builds way more boats than I do, so I ain't gonna talk shit about it. I'm just gonna fix it. Alrighty, so next step is we're gonna have to scrape all this crap out. There's my template. So now I have a template of exactly what I need for my piece to go back in here, and that's it. Okay, so the next phase that I have to do is I have to get all of this out. And the way I'm doing that is I'm using my oscillating tool, just with a regular wood bit, and it's coming. It's gonna take a while. My biggest thing is I don't wanna go into the shell. So if I leave a little bit, I'm okay with that, and I can come back and sand this. But I mean, it's working pretty well. And you can just see the water just coming right out. All right, so I'm about halfway through this. I've gone ahead and cleaned this half off, and the only tool that I've used is just my oscillating tool. That's it. I have gone through, and you'll see this in the video. I pretty much used this and cut this thing into squares, because there was a couple parts that were the wood was still decent, like right here. You can see it's still. I mean, even this is wet. So I just kind of would make cuts, try to cut where you can kind of see how it was pieced together from the factory. And you know, this was actually not hard at all. I think I've been out here, including the time to cut that off, and this, maybe an hour and a half. So, I mean, geez, not too long at all. So once I'm done getting all the old core and everything out, I'm gonna go ahead and grab a sander. I'm probably gonna be, I don't even know where all my sanders are. Well, anyway, come back to that. So I'll probably grab a DA sander, and I'm gonna knock down as much as I can of any of the residual. Probably go around all these edges and clean up the edges. As you can see again, I took notes where kind of everything was. These little pieces right here, I don't think I'm gonna need them. I'm not sure, maybe I will. But if it's all one piece, then it's just gonna screw. If I'm using plywood to come back in here, marine plywood, then I don't think I'll need the individual pieces there. What else? I think that's it. I know this is a daunting task and it's a little scary because once you start, you can't go back. But if this would have been on the boat for one more season, I guarantee you I would have cracked this thing. I mean, it was just completely rotted. And if you surf, you know, behind the boat, the water coming up, it's just gonna make it work. I mean, it's a boat, it's where everybody steps to get in and out of. So you got no choice. You know, this piece right here, I'm just gonna knock that out quickly just because I need it for the template. And then that's really it. So we'll be back once I have all this cleaned up. So another thing, you want to get a big blade like this. This big blade will allow you to keep it flat and not wanting to dig in. So I highly recommend doing this. This is something that's you know, wide and long, that'll help you keep flat, because you just don't want to dig into this. And if you do a little bit, that's not a problem, because whatever's left that I don't get off is going to be fiberglassed over, so it's going to be sealed. But just a little tip. There you go. Wood core removed. Alrighty, we're gonna try this at 50. We're gonna see what it does. I don't know what it's gonna do, but we're gonna find out. So, I'm just gonna see how well, see like these high spots, see how well that does. So I think I might be better off on some of these really, like this right here, you can definitely tell about using this. Yeah, that works really well. So now I'm holding this thing at an angle of attack, just a little bit, and I'm just going fast. I'm kind of using it, you know, honestly, I could probably grab a scraper. So I have my scraper, let's see how well that works. It works. This is doing the same thing, but easier. Okay, so we got everything, all the wood has been cleaned up. That was actually a pretty easy process. That oscillating tool was absolutely the key to this. So, everything's cleaned up. I'm gonna let this thing dry So whatever little remnants are left is completely dry. We're not, as you can see, like right here, so that's all fiberglass. And then this is just that balsa wood stuff that's just still barely remained. I'm gonna leave it. I'm not gonna go any further. I don't think I need to. I do have to go around and like this little cavity right here, I have to trim. I have to trim that up. I might leave it, I'm not sure yet. You're gonna see in the video. You know, everything's pretty much cleaned up. It just needs to sit out and dry. I might even take it downstairs in my house and let it dry inside. It might be best. All right, covered in sawdust, fiberglass, everything else. That's it for part 1 of this video. Part 2's coming up when we start to finish this thing up. Don't know if this is gonna be a 2-parter or a 3-parter, but the videos will be done. Just stay tuned. Subscribe, hit the bell, yada, yada, yada. When the second video comes out, you'll be able to see it. Hopefully this is gonna help a lot of people out. Y'all have a good evening. Bye.